All right, my good friend Craig here just helped me figure this out. I'm not a professional speaker, and I'm certainly not tech-wise. I expect in another year I will be. I kind of have to be because of my website, wakeupcanada.info. I'm going to continue with what we were talking about just half an hour ago in front of the Regina Police Station. It's another magnificent building. It's just somewhat unfortunate that the work inside there isn't done equally by most of the police officers there. And the perfect example, again, I'm going to get back on the subject, is Evan Bray, the former chief of police of Regina Police Services, who raped his own daughter's babysitter. I'm not going to get tired of this because there's no limitation of time on rape. And as I said earlier, I don't know why Evan Bray just doesn't come forward and do the right thing. Don't you hear news people saying that when somebody get hit and run? Please come forward, or the police say. Please come forward, the police say, and do the right thing? Really? So why is Regina Police not coming forward and doing the right thing? They have an assistant deputy chief there. Her name is Laurel Davies. And prior to that, the one that stepped down was Dean Ray. Dean Ray came up through the ranks with Evan Bray. He knows exactly what Evan Bray did, and he knew exactly how to hide all this. So why can't we get more than our share of honest cops? People that took an oath to help you and I and the public. So why are they not doing that? Oh, right here in front of me now, whoopee-doo. We got a van that says peace officer. Right, this is part of the province here trying to get rid of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They're bringing in a lot of marshals. I'm not too sure I agree with that happening. I kind of come up with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. But this is all about politics. It has nothing to do with you and I. This new scenario with the marshals. It's about politics. I wonder if anybody consulted with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to tell them what they're doing. The Mounted Police have a contract until 2032. So how in hell are they bringing all these peace officers in now to try and take over? Is it a money thing? Well, I would think the safety of you and I and your families shouldn't be about money. It should be about quality of enforcement. So, and we're a little negligent on that because we don't seem to really care about one another anymore. The other person that I want to talk about is Katrina Swan, who knew all about this rape. And she's not doing anything either. She's getting well paid for keeping quiet. So at what point can we trust our police officers? At what point do we trust our court system? That one's a national disgrace right across Canada. And Dean Ray, as I said, he now is in charge of the commissionaires. Wow! He just got another income. Okay. Dean Ray was the individual that said to me, "Are you Mr. Matheson?" When I came in the last time to the brand new police building, it wasn't completed yet. And he was in civilian clothes. And he said, "I understand you might have a complaint." And he handed me a form. What did he mean he understood I have a complaint? He came right up through the ranks with Evan Bray. He knew exactly what Evan Bray did. It's Scott Moe knows exactly what he did for 5 years. Don Morgan has known about this for a long time, the Attorney General. Well, guess what? He's not running anymore. But he's got his hands in a lot of other things that he's now being investigated for. Okay? Corruption doesn't stop with individuals until they're caught. And then the only reason they stop is because they just got caught. Doesn't that make sense? So how many of these watch commanders, senior staff sergeants, know exactly what I'm talking about? But they want a pension out first. Anyways, the offer I made still stands, and it will until it's collected. I'm offering a reward of $10,000 for anybody except the Regina Police Service officers that are currently serving. They don't deserve it. If they're retired, they're welcome to come in and claim for it, provided you produce enough information that Evan Bray can not only be arrested, but he can be successfully prosecuted for raping his own daughter's babysitter. You know, while I'm out here walking around, it is an absolutely gorgeous day. And when I look at what the parks people and the maintenance people have done here, they make it even more beautiful for the visitors. But I wonder if the visitors really know what goes on in this building, this legislative building. This is where Mayor Forger hid Evan Bray in the legislative building here after his wife threw him out over the rape. That's the first wife. So, and where's Forger now? Oh, he's probably got another great portfolio as well, or being well paid. Is that what we do? We pay people for being quiet? We reward them? Well, we do for police officers, don't we? Well, we do for members of parliament like Don Morgan. Christine Tell, who was a corporal at the time Evan Bray raped his own daughter's babysitter. And she was part of the problem that Heather Gray had, a dedicated police officer who recently just got an award, a sizable award. And it was that sizable that they took over $200,000 away from her from the settlement through Workmen's Compensation Board. And if it hadn't have been for two beautiful doctors, and I have to say too, in part, a family doctor that was the third person making the decision. I'm not going to say their names. I just don't want to do that at this time. But Heather Gray was lucky to survive, to even stay alive. And everybody knew that was tied with the Regina Police Service. So what I want to say to you is that there are over 300 other police forces in Canada. That's right, I said 300. So I like to compare that, well, I guess I could say if the Regina Police Service are that bad and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are that bad, how bad are the other 300? These people are there to serve and protect. Protect who? Protect themselves from the public, or cover up crime that's happening in the uniform? So, at what point do I stop talking about this rape? I'm not going to. As I said earlier, there's no limitation of time on rape. And I'm really counting on this new chief of police, Farouk Hassan Sheikh. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine, this friend of the chief of police, Farouk, his neighbor says to say hi to you from England. His name is Tony. Yeah, I have a friend that knows him. Okay. And just to pass it on to you, Chief, the two of them are going to try and come and visit you. They're not going to stay with you. They just want to come over and say hi from Alberta. So, at what point do we decide that we want to be honest about things? Do we wait until it affects us personally? Or do we get involved before that happens? I live in a country today that does nothing preparatory. Nothing. We wait until it happens and then we say, wow, we got to do something about this. And if it doesn't affect you, you're not going to do a damn thing about it anyways until it does affect you. So when I listened to the last couple of days of events that happened, you think this country's not in a mess? No, I'm not going to talk about the poverty and the homelessness and all that. I think all of you know it because some of you are it. So when do we change all this? When do we finally decide to, as Canadian, stand up and do something about what the hell is going on in Canada? My website again is wakeupcanada.info. You can go up there live. And if you don't want the truth, don't go up on my website. And if you get a chance to talk to me, and if you don't want the truth, don't ask me the question. And there's a bit of a humor on this one comment. It came from a former Mounted Police called Phil Weeb, who's stationed in Sicamous, Alberta. He's out. He's out of the force. And I'm going to say to you, we're losing some of the best damn police officers we've ever had. And he's a perfect example. And he had said to me one day, and all Phil's crime was he stood up for a couple of other young Mounties. Well, the Mounted Police don't want you to do that either. And Phil had said that a man sat down on a park bench, kind of reminds me of here. And when he looked over to his side, Christ was sitting there beside him. I might even say it might even have been God. And the young individual said to God, why are you allowing all these things to happen in Canada that's happening? And God put his hand on that young man's shoulder. And he said, son, I was about to ask you the same question. Why are you allowing all this? So we're going to do a couple more of these before I leave Regina. I'm here for a couple more days. And it's almost impossible to get an interview with the new chief. I don't know why they're hiding him. Okay? There are members that say, well, I'm a lowly constable. He doesn't talk to me. What the hell is with the chief of police that won't talk to his own police officers? Okay, and again, I'm going to give Farouk Assam Sheikh the benefit of the doubt because I really feel that Evan Bray still had a hold on this police force when I had set the 107 pages of documents pertaining to the rape that Evan Bray did. And Murray Mandrick, I'm not going to say much about that guy. The way I describe those people is they're a real piece of work. And I had 107 pages for him while I was here 2.5 years ago. And COVID was just starting to wrap up, whatever the hell you thought that was. And we sat down for a coffee, and he put his hands out and swiped the 107 pages off to the side. And he said to me, Don, can I talk to you man on man? A one-to-one. Boy, when I hear that phrase, I know nothing good is going to come out of it. It's usually a cover-up. So who is this Murray Mandrick? I got a pretty healthy hornet here that kind of wants to buzz around a little bit, but if I leave him alone and don't swipe at him, I won't get stung. So when are we going to do something about Canada we used to have, people? I can remember my mother saying to me when I was really young, if you can't help someone, son, don't hurt them. And my dad's phrase my dad died before my 16th birthday, a veteran of the Second World War, and he died of a massive heart attack in police work when he came back. And Dad would say to me twice while we were fishing. Often he would say to me, when you're out there fishing, son, sit down and listen. But I remember most from my dad is that he cared. And he said that all saints have a past, son. All sinners have a future. But spare me the criticism of those who have never been caught. So I don't have the voice that I'd like to have right now. For a couple of months I've been having difficulty with hearing in one ear and my throat. I think they're all connected. But I as yet don't have a family doctor I can step into. My file has been transferred from British Columbia to Alberta, and it's just a matter of my setting up an interview. So anyhow, I will say to most of you, which I like to say to everybody, in the meantime, stay well, keep safe, the best to you and yours in health and in happiness. And that's not a request, that's an order. And I know there's a young lady that's hoping I'm not going to say something, but I want to say hi to Di and Glenn, okay? They have really supported me since I've come to Alberta.